Cheers.
Okay, we're on.
Oh, it's Mike, so we're all here.
Did you sign it?
We're still traveling?
Yeah, till the 17th. Yeah.
Did you give that to Jack? The proclamation, did you give it to everyone?
We don't have any meeting minutes, right?
No.
Hold, that's going to be. All right, so I'll just jump right in so we can get through this really quickly. All right. On the agenda, we only have a couple of items. Local laws, that's yours, Kathy? Is that the USDO?
I think Judy. Hold on.
Yeah, it's not mine.
Okay,
Judy.
it's going to be Judy's. All right, that's going to go to finance. Be introduced and go to finance. The rest of the local laws are held. For ordinances, we don't have any ordinances, do we?
No.
No ordinances. All the ordinances on the agenda are held. Okay, resolutions, on to resolutions. So Mr. Ballerin's intro and passage for Albany Latin Fest. That'll be a pass.
And then we have the
And then we
MC.
have the MC. Everyone have a copy of the MC?
I don't think so.
Okay,
It's
we'll
right
pass it
here.
around. It's honoring the Empire for.
Oh, yeah. that-
And does everyone want to be co-sponsored? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe.
Wow.
Like the Bluebirds, right? Was it Bluebirds?
Oh, I don't know, what did they call it? No, the Firebird. The Firebird.
Thank you. The blue? Did you say Bluebird?
However, their games.
The Orioles?
Was that going to be the plaza or?
It wasn't, yeah.
All right.
Live.
All right.
Okay, so that was it for resolutions? That was it for. It's like-
Yes.
All right, that was it on the resolutions. The rest of the resolutions on the agenda are held. And that was all we had.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless someone has anything,
Well, I wanted to ask, because I'm going to do a resolution, Francis Coppola is going to be coming to do a talk at the end. And, I'm just reading his background and stuff, and I'd just like to do a resolution honoring him coming to Albany. So,
when is he going to be here?
it's going to be in October, so,
Oh, okay, so we have time.
yes, he's going to be doing, the gospel sounds good. But it'd be great to do a proclamation that, we're honoring him. He's like a pioneer in the modern film.
Okay, so
So what do you do? You call, now Jared's not around, so do I just,
You can, Sarah, you can send, she can do the legislative work for the council. Sarah Lavelle?
Can you spell that?
Yeah.
Leves? I think her last name is L-A-I-S. Vallis? Yeah, it is Vallis.
that's her first name, Val?
V-A-L-I-S.
What's, how do you spell it?
Her email will be SVALIS at albanyny.gov.
V-L-A-I-S?
VALIS.
Yeah, V is Victor. Right, she's the one that's sitting in for
I didn't realize.
Corp Council, so she's not here today. But if no one else has anything, point, go ahead.
I guess just really quickly, I didn't know they were going to pass out some information about the community choice aggregation. They formed Capital District 1. They think it's going to be up and running come, I think, November. So they'd like to come in and have another conversation with the council. And I'm suggesting, I haven't talked to Richard yet, but at the next call.
Yeah, I gave you. Oh, this is
So they'll have
the,
more information. There's a lot of municipalities locally that
Wasn't
don't.
there something just recent, I just saw something, I was thinking of you yesterday or the day before. Troy or something signed.
Yep. Oh, did
They
they?
put what?
Okay.
Somebody did, they
Looking
tried.
at it, and I think
How would I know?
Cincinnati did too. So, everyone's jumping on board, they're saving trees. an average savings of $6 a month for residents down at the Westchester one. And then they do have the opportunity to do a lot more renewable energy, which is great for everyone, so.
But why is it that they exempt the big consumers? It's only residential. Anybody who's a
They
big
will-
consumer is exempt. You can't mandate.
Well, that's a good
them.
question. I'm not exactly sure about that. But they do, some of the aggregates will have small business,
No, it's right in the state
but
law,
not the big,
creating exemptions.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I just heard some stories about people that got burned by signing up for independent electrical providers, trapped into at least a year, and then the rates fluctuate.
Well, that's something that has scared people off from this, but this is different. That was, you were an individual signing up. This is an aggregate, and there actually would be a group representation from each municipality administering the program.
Are you guaranteed the rate, though? The
For-
rate you signed up
You
for?
sign up for a certain rate. And they've got a lot of historical information about, money that has been saved. They compare it to Con Ed, for example, how the rates would fluctuate, but this, you're guaranteed a rate. And originally they were talking about 2-year contracts, but recently they're open to 1-year contracts. I'm just saying it's something we should at least look
Now,
at.
does the rate increase or decrease based
No,
upon the
it's
amount
fixed.
of how many people
Correct.
sign up for?
That's why they needed that, I think, a 40,000 threshold. So they're very interested in getting the larger municipalities
Gotcha.
involved.
So if, say, for instance, they get to 40,000 threshold and potential goes to 50,000, and then they say they drop
Rates
below
could-
40,000, the rates can fluctuate, right? Or
Well, it will be cheaper if the more you have on board.
the more you have on board, but say it drops below that at some point, will it go up?
Oh, the numbers that are,
Yeah, so.
oh.
And Troy's doing its-
You locked in for the
You're
rate
locked
period?
in.
You locked in for that set amount of
And
time?
then a municipality can decide if they want to,
Oh,
renew a contract, I guess.
Kathy, could we get multiple, like, could we get Troy and the local communities here to make our group larger?
Well, we would be joining that group. That is
Oh,
the
I
aggregate.
got it. So then you
So there's
definitely
Town of
get,
Bethlehem, Town of Niskayuna, and a lot of the towns have already signed on.
I didn't understand
Now
that
they're
part.
trying-
So
yeah.
we would join that group.
Yes, yes. And it's just looks like kind of like a buying club. The more people, more municipalities in this case. And
good.
and people, the lower the price.
Jenny?
But you're
And
hold on.
more renewable energy.
Okay,
Like, that's something really important to remember.
But you're comparing it to Con Ed, it's the most expensive electricity provider in the state. At least, I went to a thing on that was up in Schenectady about 6 months ago. And the data was all Westchester County based on Con Ed prices. Well, our prices are already lower than Con Ed's. And my question was, why did the legislation exempt the biggest consumers of electricity? In other words, any institution, you can't bring them into this plan.
Well, this
I mean,
is,
it just seems to me.
this is
that they're-
complicated stuff, and
Yeah.
that's why it's helpful to have them.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a while to kind of understand
Yeah, that would drive our rates
mechanics
really.
of this.
It would
Yeah,
make
it
them,
would
it
make
would
ours
be better,
better, yeah,
yeah,
but-
yeah, most of the
And
electricity used in Albany isn't used by residents.
How does that affect things? And, they're ready to address some of that too.
Okay,
So,
thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jenny?
So Joyce and I have been talking about some different things just in terms of council operations. And when I was on the school board, we had different rules in terms of, so you could only speak for as long as the public was allowed to speak on any given topic. And there's several reasons for that. One, it's kind of it's a respect thing. Like if you say that the public can only speak for X amount of time, then each council member shouldn't have the ability to speak indefinitely. And then it's also in terms of kind of keeping things tight and making sure we are tight in our own remarks. So I just wanted to kind of bring up that idea. So it would basically say that we would have, on any given topic, if you wanted to speak on the topic, you'd have 5 minutes. And if there's second, I think you can speak more than once on a topic, but each time you spoke on it, you would have a limit of 5 minutes. And I just wanted to.
Mike, you act like you're shocked.
Well, I don't know, I mean, the council president, I think, has been managing the meetings well.
Yeah.
When somebody drifts off, he tells them that.
Well, it's bigger than that. It's also, I mean, it's something where, in terms of people coming to our meetings and we, like, you know, I mean, even if somebody is speaking on a topic, if they're speaking for a really long time, it can make the meetings run later. If there's, especially if there's a long public comment. So it's just something where it's not necessary. I mean, I don't have an issue with the way our meetings are run. I just think this is a way to make them run better, and in a way that we can have more people come and actually see, or even watching on Facebook Live. Like it's just a way to streamline things and also, you know, make sure people are getting more engaged. They are watching more. So.
Mr. Robinson?
And I just want to say, you know, because we're a legislative body, our rules of order are different than what the public would be bound by, right? So we should have an opportunity to speak at length for, right?
And ours are, but I think what Jimmy's saying is we, as a group, should come together and agree on a time and change it as a group. Is that
Right.
basically?
It doesn't
not-
need to be hard and fast.
Right,
There's
because
nothing wrong with
right.
having some guidelines,
Yeah.
that, you know,
There you go.
suggested time
Yeah.
constraints, and then people would be more mindful, I think, of going
Yeah.
Right, and depending on the topic, I mean, there's some stuff that we all feel strongly about that.
Absolutely.
5 minutes won't do, so.
Absolutely. But you know.
But just out of curiosity, I mean, my impression is most of us don't go over 5 minutes. And it's not a hard and fast rule.
I mean, I've been timing and that's not accurate.
Oh, it's not? Well, give us the results. I mean, it's not-
Short and sweet.
You're actually.
You time yours out right when you're writing it, right?
Yeah,
In 5 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
I will
Yeah.
say you're.
So yeah, so what we'll
But if
talk
you
to
can
Richard
say my
about it,
name
and then we
during the speech, I
can
might
discuss
say
it.
more than that, so.
So I'll let Richard know, and then we'll have a conversation about it.
It's just a
to-
conversation to have. I mean, it's something where, when it comes to, I think the more people we can have engaged in our meetings and what we're doing, even if it's, especially because I feel like on social media, you know, I think that we have an opportunity to have people actually engaging more with our meetings. And the more streamlined we are and the more we get to our own points, I think it's helpful for even us. Like, what actually, Owusu is a perfect example, because he does, like, he comes up with what he's going to say, like, you know, some forethought, and then you make sure you hit the points that you want to hit.
Do you think this may increase Facebook viewers?
I don't know that it necessarily would do that at all. I don't know that it would increase people going at all, but I do know that the more efficient you are, the easier it is to reach people. So.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, I just got a couple of points on that. Number one, most of our meetings, it's the same people keep coming. I got a gentleman from Wentworth, doesn't miss a meeting unless he's on vacation. The second thing is that we never, and it kind of surprises me, and it's good because, you know, this last meeting we had, in my mind, was probably the most intense meeting that I've been at in a very long time. And we never, like, go over, you know, after the meeting, you know, what went on, you know, what was your feelings on it, and talking about stuff, well, you know, maybe we would cut back talking on this thing a little bit more. I forget what the term is, that we like do a post-mortem, like on the meeting. If it's an intense meeting, if it's a short one like tonight, or next week probably, we have 1 or 2 items, I mean, that's that. But I think as a council that we can talk, and, you know, sometimes people are really, I know I can't say that I've never been really upset after the meeting because it didn't go the way I wanted, but maybe being able to talk about it afterwards, it's a good way that as a council that we can, you know, get to know our feelings about it.
So are you talking on or off the record? Because at the end of the meeting, when Richard asks if anyone has anything else, that's when
Is
I
that
mean,
on the record?
right, that, I'm saying that's on the record. Are you talking about having an informal discussion
Like
or?
during the caucus, like. you
Right,
know,
yeah, so
hey,
then that
boss.
would just, at the end of the meeting, I think, if you had something to say about really
Well, you know,
anything that was on the agenda, I mean,
If your temper's up at the end of the meeting, you don't want, sometimes it takes 2 days to calm down, or a week. And then.
so a week that long, so the following caucus.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I walked out of the meeting last Monday, and it was like, oh my God, what did I just, you know? And it was, the mayor was here, and it was just, there was a lot of stuff. And
There was.
I still don't know what the truth is.
It was a lot.
I mean,
So, can I, because it seems like I'm the elephant in the room.
no, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm just talking about how I feel, you know, in terms of just walking in on it, right? What's going on is there's things that's happening in the community, and some of the things have been going on for a long time, and people are just getting tired of it.
I wasn't talking about that. Can I just actually stop it? Because right now, you're bringing it in as if I was talking about that meeting.
No, I'm
Joyce
not.
and I have been talking about this for like a month. Like, this is not, like, this has nothing to do with this past meeting,
And I
which
don't
I would
have
not
any-
have changed anything about.
And I don't have
It's
any
about,
offense. I don't have to, I'm just telling you how, you know, just listening, you know, how
yeah, well, if we could not make it about this past meeting, that would
Yeah, I
be
was
great.
segueing.
Because I would like to.
All right, different, changing subjects, all right.
We got salt and
Like,
pepper.
these are two very different subjects.
This past meeting, this conversation is relevant about this past meeting because it was this one time
Oh,
that the
yeah.
community came out to speak up about, you know, what's sad is that an act could be taken, it's on video, and then like to sit here and listen to that was painful for me to listen to that whole spill that she told to us because there was no truth in it. And, you know, for me, it's hard to sit here and have to listen to that in a public meeting coming from the mayor of an act, you know, that has been repeated. You know, we have these scenarios, and then she comes up there and basically bullies people. And, you know, this one was caught on video, and then, you know, when it was asked of her to make an apology, you know, it was a real uncomfortable meeting.
Absolutely.
But there's a bunch of issues that's going on at once, you know, so I'm just trying to understand the time limit on people speaking because, you know, most of the stuff that we speak about is generally a reason why we're standing up there speaking. And it's kind of hard as a person who comes to speak to us that's given 5 minutes. It's hard to really hone in on what you're trying to say when you're thinking about a time limit, you know, for people that maybe are not experienced in that situation. So when you start thinking about a time limit, sometimes that makes it harder for you to even get the point that is.
Well, I will say I haven't, because I had never spoken with a time limit until I was on the school board, and I can promise you, like, there was, most of my meetings were pretty contentious, strong meetings. Like, that is not a light subject, Sabrina. And you figured it out. Like, it's, you don't know how to do anything. You don't know how to bake a cake until you bake a cake. And then when you bake a cake, you know, like 3 times a month, over and over again, then you get really good at baking cakes. So it's just something where, yeah, in the beginning, and I would not have wanted to institute it for that specific, like, that once you know how to do it, you get a feel for it, it is helpful because it helps you narrow down and kind of figure out how to speak efficiently. But there are times that you throw it out the window. I mean, it's like if you need to. But it is something that, in terms of consistency, I think it's just, if we have people that are coming in and are passionate about a subject, and we give them, we actually cut their time down to 3 minutes, and then we talk on and on and on, I just think it's effective.
Well, I just think that it's like, and you know, I could see if it was situations where people were abusing miscellaneous, and thus far, I think people have been, you know, respectful because, you know, if that's the case, then there's been times that we had to sit here and listen to, you know, other people that sit at this table make their point over again and again and again, and it's never really been questioned or, you know.
Well, that's the whole point, is that Joyce and I have been questioning it for quite some time now. So much so, I mean, you're right, there are people able
think
to
even
stand up
concrete this
and
discussion, right,
speak for like
gonna make people
11
Like,
minutes,
say the
say
same
the
thing,
same
three
thing
or
over and
four
over again.
times. They say the same thing.
So just say something like that,
Five
you know, it's
minutes,
good
no
that you
one
brought
hear
this
that
point,
twice.
you know, we're gonna be mindful.
And so I do understand that, but like as a person who would like to
You don't have to
see
wait.
the council floor with
like you
with
don't
more
need
people from my neighborhood, like it was the last time. I felt bad for some of the people that came down there to speak because they had to wait 45 minutes, you know, for the meeting to get started, and then they had to wait another 45 minutes to speak. So a lot of people left that came down there to speak that night. And it was just unfortunate because it's really hard to get them to come down to the council.
Absolutely.
And you know, they had some things that they wanted to
And
share.
they might have actually wanted to stay. I mean, there's a bunch of people there with their kids. I remember bringing my kids to meetings. You can only stay so long. And like, if you really care about a topic and you want to actually hear what everybody has to say on the subject, you know, and I'm just saying it's something to consider. I know it's different, but it's also, it can be, it's not as terrible as it seems. And we have 3 minutes on the school board, which is way shorter than 5. And you can communicate quite a bit in that time. And you also, if it's an important subject, you can go back. I mean, you can go back and say more. It's something where it kind of keeps people efficient and.
Well, we have a limitation, you can only speak once on a subject.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, you can't go past, it doesn't, it's not, never ending debate. But I think having this discussion alone is gonna make folks be more mindful of the time. Unless it's a hot topic, then all this is gonna go out, it's gonna go out the window. But lastly, if no one has anything else, Michelle's got updates.
Well, I was talking about dissect another idea, and I wanted to run by folks. I don't know, I know my ward, and even know my ward stuff, but I was thinking, and I can do it on an individual basis, but I was throwing out the idea that to drive around, meet with each ward member in their wards, and, you know, drive around and see, you know, what the problems are, what their roads look like, what, you know, what their ward's about to hear about it, and I would be open to doing the same thing, driving people around. So I just want to run that idea that it might be a good way to, you know, kind of when we're at these meetings, understand where you're coming from and what type of neighborhood and problems and stuff like that. So,
Very good. Thanks, Tom. Michelle.
So I'm trying to do, I'm working, I removed all the auto from the website to move it to our YouTube because we have an issue with space, which is very limited on our website. So I've been doing that, converting the auto files to videos so it can post on YouTube. All the caucus meetings are posted on the YouTube, and I just want your help in sharing that. And until we get a certain amount of subscription, we can't start doing lives on YouTube. So I want to definitely use that. YouTube Live is a lot better than Facebook, and you can use them both at the same time. And I want to do a lot better job of us be more transparent and having people involved and just letting your constituents know that they can send. We have an email, Common Council at Albany NY, where they can send the concerns if they have questions. I think, you know, I want to do more of like, even if you can't make it to the meeting, you can send your letters or send your comments to us so that we can be more active and people can get involved.
So the YouTube links are connected to Facebook?
I've been posting them, especially our videos, so I post them on YouTube and I also
you
make
want-
sure it's on, just to share more.
How many do we need to?
1,000 on our
1,000?
subscribers.
All right, well, why
Yeah.
don't we push it out, saying like subscribe so that we can do YouTube Live?
And that information, you sent an email with the link.
I'm gonna send in one tomorrow. I'll send one tomorrow where our YouTube, but I've been posting on our Facebook. We just need more subscribers, and just not only that, so that they can always see links when we're uploading things, so they can't say, oh, this was discussed, I don't know what's going on. And we've also did the active list, which has been helpful because people they didn't know what was gonna be voted. This is a way to know what's gonna be voted in the next meeting. And we're gonna keep that up, even though Jared is not here. We're gonna keep that updated and I post a lot on our Facebook, so people are aware of the meetings.
Really
Do we know how many hits we get, like on the recorded meeting or on?
I get on our Facebook mostly because Facebook really
Yeah.
it does analysis. We've been getting a lot more since I've been more active. Sometimes we'll go as much as like 1,000. Sometimes people just sharing Some people might just look at it and not like it, so we've been getting that. So we've been getting a lot of people just looking
Like,
at.
if you post a meeting on YouTube, do you know how many people actually viewed it?
View it, yes. Well,
Can't you just see that right in?
I think you can see, I think it
Right on
gives
the
you the
bottom.
analysis. It
So
says
one
likes.
person can watch it over and
Yeah.
over again, but like, it still gives.
It does give you views and likes, but
What's the
sometimes it's
Email
not.
address again, Michelle?
Common Council at albanyny.gov.
So just, okay.
Yeah, so
Mr. Johnson?
So can we put that information on the website?
it is on the website to my knowledge, but, yeah.
But yeah, we should all push it
And the
out.
links is on the website too. So I've linked our YouTube, everything so that people can see. I've been posting a lot and even our website is updated with our YouTube, our Facebook, everything, so.
We should all also subscribe to that.
Yeah.
And
that-
How many subscribers do we
You
have?
just hit
17 on
start,
YouTube.
you have it. I mean,
that's
it
it.
doesn't even
And
feel
1,000
like
and something on
like,
Facebook.
It doesn't hurt you. or
But it helps for the Common Council to themselves to, you know, share our
Sure,
stuff.
right, yeah, we will. So, just lastly, I've been listening to, and watching some of the YouTube, anyone that's watched, you see, it really matters if you speak into your mic or not.
Yeah.
Because depending on where the camera's facing, we always hear Corey, but if it's one side of the room or the other and you respond to him, no one can hear your reply, so
Can I get a
speak.
different mic?
We'll have to work on that.
We're working
So-
on the equipment.
Sure.
Every day, well, every Monday before the meeting, I go in and I do a sound check, and I test every mic and make sure it's being picked up and the volume is appropriate. I can swap out your mic if you're having difficulty, but I don't have a problem hearing you, but there are some people in the room that I definitely struggle to hear. I'm by nature a soft-spoken person, and there are other people that are on the council that are soft-spoken, so just make sure you hit the button. What I also have learned to do is to make sure that the public comment mic is on, and I do a test. Then I try to adjust people's microphone settings and turn them up, but what happens is you feed his feedback off the other mics. Because if both your mics are on at the same time, it causes a terrible hum, which then becomes part of the public record of this meeting.
Yeah.
So speaking into the mics is extremely helpful. I will continue to play with your
And
mic.
turning them
Yeah,
off.
there's some
Yeah,
turning
speak,
off
yeah, turn it on, speak, and then turn it off.
Yeah.
So my, and then there's something about it, every time I've tried using it, it makes, it just throws everything off, like, I don't know why.
And we are actively working with the PEG Access Board to try
Yes.
to do equipment for the chambers. That is by far a labor of love, because of the dollar amount associated with it, it has to go out for bid, and like 5 million people have to jump through hoops to make it happen. So
We are working on it, yeah.
to try and make it happen and to replace some of that equipment, to make streaming and make this process more transparent to the community at large.
Thank you. Thank you. No. No one has anything else, right, Tom? All right. We're here.